Welcome into the TSO locker room with Ryan Jones, obviously part of our Pirate preview. Pirates taking on the Bulls of USF. We'll have Will Turner from 247 Sports also joining us here in a little while. With us right now, Bubba Rosenbaum. How are you, dude?
I'm cold. Just got off the baseball field. It's definitely not baseball weather, but we were victorious, so that's the main thing. And we're playing the championship game tomorrow night in our little fall league here just outside of Salisbury.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I shouldn't say this. Coach Houston, forgive me, and all the coaches. I feel good about Thursday night. We'll talk to Ryan in just a second. A guy that knows about Thursday night games and winning a lot of games with the Pirates, former linebacker for ECU under the Coach Logan era. I'm talking about Matt Semenza. What's up, bud? How are you?
What's going on, guys? Happy to be here. Looking forward to catching up with Ryan tonight, and I'm fired up for Thursday. The stadium should be lit. We have the black uniforms ready to roll, and I think the team's going to be fired up. So I'm excited.
Night at the Boneyard. Get your tickets. ECU Pirates.com. You can do it like the old-fashioned way, like me. 1-800-DIAL-ECU. Bubba Rosenbaum. We're so excited to have Ryan back on the show.
Yeah, no doubt, Dave. And so, Ryan, just talk about the craziness of last weekend. We had nearly a 5.5-hour lightning delay down in Houston. Pirates obviously come up just a little bit short, 31-24 in overtime. But just before we talk about the game, just talk about the craziness with the weather delay.
Yeah, last Saturday is probably one of the toughest experiences I've had. The weather delay was definitely something that none of us planned for. We weren't expecting it coming to the week, but just waiting all that time, trying to stay focused and still be ready for the game. That's probably the most challenging part. But, we still came out and played pretty well. We came up short, but we still have something to build on. So
last night, very quickly, Dave, just following up on that, during the delay last night, we talked to Joyner, and he kind of told us what he did to keep himself mentally prepared for whenever the game was going to be played. So, what was going on with you and some of the offensive guys during that delay?
Really, we just try to stay loose. Still stay locked in, but also know that, we have a little downtime, so still, stay loose, but just also stay locked in. So, when the time did come for us to play, we'd be ready.
One of the things I've been really impressed with, Ryan, is this team I say it all the time, but on the verge of greatness. There's so many flashes that you're seeing on both sides of the ball. And to me, on Saturday night, the one thing that I love about this team, and Matt, you and Bubba can comment because you're former players as well, is the very fact this team never, ever, ever gives up. I love that about this team. The team fights to the very end. You guys are in every single game now. We had a program before you guys came here that were folding like an old card table. I hate to say it, but it was like 64-17. These outrageous scores that I'm not saying that I'm happy that we're losing. I'm not at all. But I think you can see the trajectory of this program as Matt and Bubba and Kyle and I are talking about going way up. You guys are so close. I know Joel Osteen always talks about being inspirational and a preacher talking about you're closer than you think. And I really thought about you guys when I was really hurt on seeing the overtime for you guys. It's not about me because I'm not playing the game, but I was very hurt. And then it just dawned on me, it was maybe a divine intervention after that overtime that you guys are closer than you think. How do you feel about that?
I definitely agree. The team plays with tremendous fight. We play really well together. And I think it's probably just we trust each other on the field more. And I feel like we believe as a team that we can compete every week. Every week we go into the game thinking that we should win this game. So, I think the way we practice throughout the week and everything, that helps us play on Saturday, and that helps us keep faith each game and know that we can compete with these guys.
Ryan, man, I was excited for you early in that game. You had a catch. It was a pretty short catch, and you were able to get yourself upfield, and I saw the speed flash. And I think, unfortunately, I think there was a penalty called maybe on the opposite side of the field. I don't remember what the penalty, but I was frustrated for you because we got to see you get into the open field and show your speed. What were your thoughts on that play?
Definitely. Once I caught the ball, I was seeing end zone. So, I think I got it like roughly probably like 20 or so yards or maybe further. But I mean, that was a great play for me. It definitely, because I mean, that was my first time really being in open field and having space to truly just run and show my speed. But I mean, that was a great play for me. Sadly, it got called back, but I was still amped up about it.
Yeah, I want to see that. I want to see that play designed for you again as the season goes on. And nothing more frustrating when you're a player to have a great play, and then you see
Yeah.
that flag come out, and so that was unfortunate.
No doubt, and the very fact that the one thing I've noticed about you in the tight end position, that room itself, is there's such a mismatch. It's a mismatch, no matter if you're like in the middle of the field, wherever you see you guys. And I'll tell you what, when Holton gets that ball, gets the rock to you guys, my goodness, I tell you what, there's going to be, Josiah. There's so many weapons that he has.
Yeah.
Not only the running game, but the passing game. You guys are lit, man.
Yeah, I mean, we have a whole bunch of it. We have the running game is A1, the deep routes, we got the passing game, the short routes, everything. So I mean, our offense is electric. We just have to continue to make plays. And I mean, the coaches are putting us in position. So I mean, we'll have something for Thursday. I say
Speaking of
we'll be
which,
good.
how has practice been? I wanted to ask you that. How has practice been so far this week? I know it's been a short week, but it might be a good thing that you guys don't have the bye week this week, where you can get right back on the field and show the nation on ESPN. By the way, folks, the nation
Yeah.
gets to see how great the Pirates are.
Definitely with this being like a shorter week, it was I wouldn't say things were rushed or crammed, but it definitely helped us lock in more mentally on the game and the aspect with everything preparation wise. So I mean, this week has helped us fine tune stuff that we did from last Saturday and things that we're going to do for Thursday. So this week has been short, but it's been used very well for us.
Before we talk more about the game Thursday against South Florida, going back to the Houston game, the offense really came out and played pretty well early. Keaton was getting 5, 6, 7 yards a carry. And I was like, hey, we're going to be able to run the ball pretty well against these guys. But then Houston found some answers, and, maybe we didn't execute as well as we would have liked. But there in the fourth quarter, trailing 24-10, things came alive. Then when we get a score, defense forces a turnover. Then we get another score. So just talk about the way things went in the fourth quarter, and what Coach Kirkpatrick and the offensive staff was telling you guys on the sideline.
The fourth quarter, I mean, everything we do preparing the entire week, we always work for the fourth quarter because you can't win the game until the fourth quarter. So just going into the fourth quarter, we all were still pretty motivated. And then once we got that turnover and Audi had that big touchdown to score the game, to tie the game, excuse me. But we're just real motivated. We knew that if we just continue to work as a team and work how we know we can, we would end up winning the game or competing to win the game.
No question about it. With that, with the game at that's the thing, is you take away another thing that hurt watching, of course, was with Jones with the obviously with that touchdown run, on special teams, something that we're not used to. You guys are so good on special teams. That was a backbreaker, obviously, and I know that seemed to be such a big momentum swing early in the game. Like, I really thought when I saw that Josiah, I'm like, oh my God, this is fantastic. Exactly what we want. We know that the offense has a lot of weapons. We know that, like you said, electric. You guys are very dangerous. And I tell you what, the opponents better hope that you guys don't put it together. When you do, you're going to be putting up video game numbers. I really believe that. I sincerely believe that. And then when you have the defensive side, Jair and all the guys on the defensive side of the ball, they are so aggressive, swarming around. So you're making Semenza very happy because I know he hasn't seen a defense like this in a long time for the Pirates, for real, like at least a decade or more.
Yeah. I love the way the guys are flying around. I said it last night to Jaira. I mean, this is exciting, aggressive, attacking defense where, if you don't love playing defense in this scheme, then there might be a problem, with you. Because I mean, who doesn't want to come off the edge and blitz and attack the quarterback? So very impressed with those guys, Ryan. And I want to ask you, when you look at that game, you go back and you watch the tape. Houston obviously has a very good defense. I think their ends were very good at getting upfield and creating some pressure. Did you see things on tape after the fact that we could have done maybe a little differently? Were there any plays open that maybe presented themselves after the fact?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like every week, I mean, once you turn on the tape, you can always see that there's things you could have done better, or sometimes you see where you could have left points on the field or whatever. But we really just use that as a motivation or just criticism for ourselves, just the things we need to work on so we can correct them for next week.
Ryan, if you would, tell us about the South Florida defense. You've had the opportunity to watch them on film. Last night we were talking to Gyra, what we're seeing with the tremendous running game of the Bulls. But what can you tell us about the USF defense?
From the defensive standpoint, I mean, they run an odd front defense, which is kind of different than any other team in our conference. So it's going to be a different look for us. But all the work that we put in this week, just from the film study and just from preparation we've had so far, I mean, we have a good game plan for Thursday. So it's just a different look defensively that we're going to see. But it shouldn't be anything too bad for us, And
I have a question for you, Ryan. If we're bringing in Kyle from LaGrange Barber, the co-host, late again. So if you were late right now, I know you probably can't say everything because that's between coaches and players, but what happens if you're 13 minutes late to practice?
13 minutes late to practice, you probably shouldn't even show up. It's it wouldn't be fun for you. You might just want to skip that day, come back the next day or something. It wouldn't be fun.
Ryan, unlike Coach Houston and the coaching staff, Dave ain't gonna make me do crap. So
pencil rolls, baby, pencil rolls.
Dave's got an obsession with me doing pencil rolls because I'm a big guy, so I don't get it. But anyway, Ryan, I don't want to repeat anything that's already been repeated. But obviously, you mentioned South Florida's unique scheme. Do they blitz a lot, or do they play mostly base coverage? Or seems like out of a 3-man front, they probably blitz their linebackers a lot.
I wouldn't say they blitz a lot, but they do sometimes bring a safety down or like an outside linebacker play like that rush position to maybe sometimes give like a 4-down look. But it's they mainly stay in like 3 down and have a 5 deep usually, so they don't blitz too much. But I mean, they do on occasion.
So how do you attack that as a tight end with the guys staying in coverage? Without giving too much of the game plan away? How do you attack that from your position?
Really, how can I say it? Really, that's just something you have to scheme up, because I mean, I feel like this is the only week we'd see an odd front defense. So I mean, we have to put in your tools to get to certain blocks and to get to certain angles for routes and stuff would just be different.
I got you.
And you guys are going on a Thursday night. Yeah, being a Thursday night with the Boneyard, the night at the Boneyard, we got a whole bunch of fans for as far as college kids coming. The record's 11,500. What message have you heard? Have you told any of your classmates, any folks that are college kids, like, come on out, because we want to see, like, it'd be awesome to see 13, 14, 15,000 college kids there to support you guys. I mean, your fellow college students.
Yeah. I mean, from everything I'm hearing, it sounds like the student section would be packed. Because, I mean, I heard they're opening back up something called like a frat lot or something by the stadium. And I know that the students are real happy about that. So I heard they're going from there, from tailgating straight to the stadium. So that'll be good for us. We definitely need that place loud.
Yeah, and we've been encouraging the students. I don't know how many students watch our show, but if any. But we've been encouraging the students, as much as we can. There's going to be people, Bubba's in the Charlotte area. He'll be there. But most people that live in the Charlotte area up towards Richmond and D.C., we got a lot of Pirates in those areas. Getting there on a Thursday night is hard. It's not like a Saturday game. So we kind of need the students to make up the difference to be there and be loud.
Yeah, I feel like we'll have a good show on the students at the game, for sure.
And even though it will not be
now, Ryan, if we can get you in the open field again this week, are you what kind of speed do you have, Ryan? Are you a 4.5 guy?
It's going to be a house call. That's what I'm going for. It's going to be a house call. That's all I can say on that one.
All right. I like it.
Yes, sir.
I love it.
Yes, sir.
We got to have that. Yeah, the 90s, man. We had swagger with Matt Semenza, so that's what I'm looking forward to you guys. You guys, that's another thing. You guys seem to really like each other. It seems that way on both sides of the ball. On the field, you're having fun. I heard that about on a national radio show today about Clemson. They just need to have fun. They forget that they're playing a game that's fun. You guys, and I thought about, the Pirates. I said, we don't have that problem at ECU. The guys look like they really like each other on and off the field, and they look like they are having fun. In my opinion, it's just not. It may not be clicking the way we all want it to, like as far as more points on the scoreboard. But you guys look like y'all are like a band of brothers, so to speak.
Yeah, the locker room is definitely a family aspect, and the guys truly do care for you on and off the field. We hang out on the field, we hang out off the field. So when you play with guys that you care about, it makes you want to play harder. It makes you want to play to your best. So, I think that's really what's been carrying us the entire season. It's just the chemistry that we have for each other and just the love we have as a team for each other. So, that'll take you a long way in football as long as everyone playing for the guy beside you.
Ryan, obviously South Florida is the only game that matters because it's the only game this week. But, we as fans, we speculate big picture stuff. And one thing that we were talking about up here, if somehow you guys can get on a hot streak and win these next four, South Florida, Temple, Navy, and Memphis, Cincinnati, good chance they're going to run the table. At worst, that game's going to be 3:30 on ESPN. At best, ABC 7 p.m. at primetime. If you guys could win these next four, come in as a 7-4 football team against a undefeated Cincinnati, there's a good chance they could be Black Friday night on ABC in primetime, taking on a potentially 1, 2, 3, or 4 team ranked in the country. Is that something you guys give any thought to, or is it just South Florida only?
Right now we're definitely thinking just 1-0 each week, and but we do have a goal of being bowl eligible and also finishing with a winning season. So, that's in the back of our minds. But as long as we continue to try to go 1-0 each week, those things will just build up. So by the time the end of the season comes, or by the time we play Cincy or whatever, those goals that we have will be right in front of us.
Now, Matt Semenza lives up in Connecticut. Matt played was a great player for us back in the 90s. And
I don't know about great.
You're pretty dang good. And Matt said if you guys went out between now and Cincy, he's going to come he's going to piss his wife and family off on Thanksgiving and come all the way down from Connecticut for that Cincinnati game. So I want to see Matt. I want to see Matt on Black Friday in Greenville.
I want to see him in the doghouse. Matt in the doghouse.
Hey man, hey, I'm happy to be in the doghouse. I want to see you guys have as much success as possible. I, like Dave said earlier, I really respect the fight in this team because you guys continue battling, and I truly believe that you're going to break through. And I hope that's this week. I think it's another great opportunity. Ryan, I think you had a great answer that's very mature on your part to talk about. We need to go 1-0, take it 1 week at a time. I think that's a great attitude. So we're definitely pulling for you.
I appreciate it. For sure.
No problem. What are the keys to victory on Thursday night? And then we'll let you get out of here. I know that you have been studying hard. You had the exam, and we're proud of you for knocking that out. And I'm sure you did well in that. But what do you think the keys of victory are for Thursday night there under the lights at Dowdy-Ficklen?
Really, it's the same as every week. I mean, we just have to continue to play hard, play together, and just execute plays and play with extreme effort. I mean, you do those 3-4 things, and those will come out with victory. So, I mean, it's the same as each week because I feel like we get so close each week. And, I mean, we play well. We just have to get over that hump. But I feel like this week will be, well, the next couple of days, it'll put people on notice for sure.
Ryan, I got one more question for you. World Series Game 1 tonight. Are you pulling for the Astros or the Braves?
Honestly, I haven't even watched any baseball, none this season, but I always have to say Braves because I have a Braves hat, but that's all I can give you on that one.
That's how a lot of people are around here. They rooted for the Braves in the 90s, so all of a sudden they're a Braves fan again.
Ryan, how about NBA, Ryan? Who's your favorite NBA team?
NBA, I don't have a favorite team right now, but I'm definitely a LaMelo Ball fan, and the Hornets are doing pretty good right now, so I can't complain.
They lost in overtime last night, but they were
the finals, but they're doing all right now.
They were undefeated until last night. They lost in overtime to the Celtics, so I was disappointed, but hey, they're off to a great start.
Definitely. There's need the Panthers to do that down, then we'd be all right.
Hey, now, Dave, we have a comment from diehard Pirate fan Justin Butts chiming in on Facebook. He was down at TD-ECU Stadium at Houston over the weekend. He says, keep working hard, Ryan. Was at the game on Saturday. Nothing to hang your head about.
I appreciate that. Definitely just a learning experience, just something to build off of and work to fix, Definitely a learning experience.
No doubt. Thank you so much, Ryan, and being a part of the TSO locker room. And we'll see you back next week. Good luck on Thursday night. And I know we'll be talking about a victory next week.
Yes,
Go
sir.
get the Pirates. You. All right.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you. Have a good night.
See
you. Bye-bye. Well, appreciate Ryan very much in the TSO locker room, part of our Pirate preview this week. And now with us from Bulls 247 Sports. He's like the Igo, I guess, if you will, for USF, our friend Stephen Igo, and Will Turner from Bulls 247. How are you, man?
I'm great. How about y'all?
Great to have you on. Appreciate you very much. Big game on Thursday night. First question, are you going to make it to Greenville?
Of course I have to. I mean, my name's Will Turner. I'm effectively a pirate, right? Pirates of the Caribbean. So just call me Orlando Bloom, and I gotta be at Dowdy-Ficklen on Thursday night. So yeah, driving up Wednesday from Tampa, and I'll be in the house.
I do not get that. What was? I don't get that reference at all. Somebody explain that to me.
Oh wow, you're probably one of the first folks in ECU fandom that I have to explain it to. There's a character in the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. There's a main character that's played by Orlando Bloom named Will Turner. So ever since I was in kindergarten, I got it because I was in elementary school, probably about 4 years after the movie the first one came out. And ever since, college professors, high school teachers, the first day of roll, they're like, "You get that all the time?" And I'm like, "Yep. You're not the first one." So whenever I hop on the ECU boards, it's always, "Oh, he's one of us."
I got you. All right. Look, Johnny Depp gets on my nerves. I haven't liked anything he's done since 21 Jump Street. So I haven't seen any of the Pirate Caribbean movies.
Oh my! I love Johnny Depp. Are you kidding me?
Wow. No, I'm not. He's creepy to me. I don't like Johnny Depp. There's just something about him that irks me.
What about, so you're not going to be Edward Scissorhands for Halloween?
I hate Edward Scissorhands. That may be why I hate him. That may be why I hate Johnny Depp from that damn movie.
Wow, that's a great movie. Oh my God.
Yeah, I'll take that back. I'll take that back. I love What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
That's a great movie.
So there is one Johnny Depp movie I like, but that's that would be the exception. He absolutely ruined Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Well, that's the original for me is way better. But yeah, that's a whole nother. We'll get to our movies later on. We have Will Turner. I don't think you came on to talk about movies, Will, but if you want,
He started it.
a triple dog dare you. But anyway, Will, big game, obviously. I have a question. When you come up here, do you like Eastern North Carolina barbecue, being a guy from Tampa?
See, yeah, it's good stuff. I mean, I like all kinds of barbecue, if we're being completely honest with you. So, I mean, Eastern Carolina, Raleigh, I did with our NC State guy when USF played NC State this year. I went to Raleigh and had some pulled pork up
What did
there.
you do?
That was good.
Did he take you to the pit, or did you eat tailgating?
He took me to the pit. I forget the one spot that Corey took me to, but I enjoyed it a lot with great hush puppies. Enjoyed that. Love myself. Pretty much Carolina barbecues on between North and South Carolina is probably my favorite barbecue in the country. Between Texas and Tennessee and some of the other places I've been. So.
Well, the pit is Eastern style. I've never been there, but I've been told it's Eastern style.
Yeah,
so
it is.
That's still Eastern North Carolina style barbecue. Though once you get in Raleigh, I'm not sure they know how to do it properly. But.
There are some places. There are some places there, Kyle. They are. Will, obviously, big game with at Dowdy-Ficklen on Thursday night under the lights, ESPN. Just want to get your take from the Bulls' perspective coming into Greenville, and you guys had a really nice win with what was over 420 yards of rushing, a record for a school record for the Bulls. So, talk about that experience and leading that up to tonight, or I should say Thursday night.
Yeah, no, it was a big boy football is exactly what a couple of the offensive linemen called it. 421 yards of total rushing on 73 carries, about 6 yards per carry. You had two rushers, Jaron Mangum and Kelly Joyner Jr., over 100 yards each. It was one of those games that you knew from the very beginning USF was going to be able to run the football well, and that's exactly what they did. Temple struggles against the run, but they're a top 10 unit against the pass. I don't think USF threw a pass past 5 yards. I think everything was a lot of screens when they did throw it because, they didn't want to test that unit and, when they knew they could run the ball so successfully. They held on to the ball for 44 minutes, which is also a school record by about 4 minutes. So they controlled the clock, and their defense played really well because, obviously if you're on the field a lot, your defense gets a lot of rest. So they were able to keep the defense rested, which was important because that's something that they haven't been able to do this year. So all around, pretty solid effort. Definitely over the last 3 or 4 years, probably one of the most dominant efforts we've seen out of any USF team since Quentin Flowers left in 2017. So it was good to see from them. They needed a game like that. It was their first win over an FBS opponent in 728 days. The 2-year anniversary of that last win, which came over ECU, is actually today, because it was October 26, 2019, and it was a big win for the program. They needed it, and they're riding high coming into Greenville for this Thursday night.
Will, read today that your quarterback has an ankle issue, according to your head coach. It may be a Thursday morning decision on whether he'll go or not. What are you hearing?
Yeah, so it's still pretty up in the air right now. They practiced yesterday night. They had a light practice tonight. And as far as I could tell, it's still 50-50 at this point, whether or not he's going to go. Timmy McClain, the left-handed starting quarterback out of Orlando area, he started the last 4 games. So Florida A&M, BYU, SMU, Tulsa, and Temple. That's actually 5, excuse me. So he started the last 5 games for USF. Don't really know just yet. I think it truly is going to be a Thursday night game time decision if he warms up, if he doesn't. If he's not able to go, Travis Marsh, who's the backup, should get the nod there. COVID year freshman out of Miami, Florida. One of the most winningest programs, came out of one of the most winningest programs in state history in Miami Central. So he knows how to win. He's probably got the best arm talent out of anybody in that quarterback room between Timmy and Cade Fortin and Travis Marsh. So, like I mentioned, so either or, if it's McLean or if it's Marsh, I think they feel confident that either one of them can lead them to success on Thursday night.
McLean, did he practice tonight or last night?
Yes, I was told he practiced last night. I'm assuming he practiced tonight. I haven't heard anything after practice. I think they went around 6:30, 7 o'clock, so I haven't heard anything just yet. But as far as I know, he's practiced.
He's playing then.
So
Hey,
Will,
Will, I noticed your field goal kicker Schrader is 9 for 9 on the season. He's 100%. He's 3 for 3 from 40 plus, and he even has a field goal from over 50 yards. What kind of range does he have?
Well, I think we're still kind of learning because he hit a 53-yarder the other night against Temple, like you mentioned, which is for him, that was a new career high. I think it's one of the longest kicks in the conference, and that looked to be good from about 55, 56 yards. What a turnaround, man. He was a kid that in 2019, USF was up on Cincinnati. This is when Cincinnati was ranked like 18th, 19th in the country at the time, and USF was needing to win badly. Charlie Strong hadn't won a game in November in the last 2 years, so they needed to win bad. And Schrader misses all 4 of his field goals. And one of them, the last one that probably would ice the game, goes off the right upright. So he really needed he really went back to the lab this offseason and last season and focused on getting better. And Jared Sackett, who was a transfer from Arkansas via UTSA, came in and challenged for the starting kicking role, but Spencer stayed true to it and worked hard, and it's paying off, man. It really is. It's good to see because he's a local kid from right down the road in Lithia. Played soccer professionally for a year, if I remember right. His sister's on the University of Tampa women's soccer team. And he's such a good kid too. That's the other thing is like he's got his own business now with the NIL stuff that's allowing him to make some money. He's got his own business, finance major, something like that along those lines. Very driven kid and has done some great things to really improve. I think he's one of only 6 kickers in the country to not only be perfect on field goals, but be perfect on PATs as well. So it's been good. But yeah, to answer your original question about range, probably about 50 to 55 yards in all honesty, which is something that USF hasn't had in quite a while.
That could be Will. I will say this. I'm sorry, Bubba. I'll make this quick point and let you. I know you want to chime in. That could be a factor on Thursday night because we so far we're seeing about ECU. Our kicker for Owen Daffer is about 40 in. I would say that we definitely know. Yep. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but it's about 40 yards.
He's 9 for 11, Dave, and he's 9 for 9 from 39 yards and in. His 2 misses have been, I think, 42 and 44 or 43 and 44, something like that. But yeah, going back to things with that ground attack, like you said, as far as rushing for 421 yards is a school record. Talk about some of the specifics of that. The Bulls nearly had 3 100-yard rushers in the process, including Colorado transfer Mangum. So tell us about each of those backs that ran for 77 yards or more in that victory over Temple, and what they each bring to the table, their running styles, speed, and so forth.
Yeah, so you mentioned, start off the bat with Jaron Mangum, the Colorado transfer. He had a really good freshman year at Colorado. I think was on the all Pac-12 freshman team. Doesn't see the field a whole lot in his sophomore season, but then transfers to USF, and he's already got 12 rushing touchdowns on a year, and he's 6 away from breaking Quentin Flowers' 2016 record when he had 18. So, he's straight out of Detroit. He's straight out of Detroit, Michigan. He's tough. He's tough. And 6'2" back. They were really excited to get a taller back. They haven't had a back like that since Jordan Cronkite, if y'all remember the name from 2019, the former Florida transfer. So they were really excited to get Jaron back in the program and get a taller back in the program, get back in a room. So he's done great. He's been money inside of 10 yards. Especially early in the season, I was a little interested to see what he would do between the 10-yard lines everywhere else on the field. He's really kind of stepped up with a lot of he's shown some success in outside zone concepts, inside zone concepts. They're not running, obviously, since he's a bigger back, they're not running as many stretches and sweeps with him as they would a Kelly Joyner or Brian Battie. But Jaron's done a great job, and he's a team player, and it fits the culture that Jeff Scott's trying to instill. Moving towards Kelly Joyner, he was 2019's leading rusher for USF. Kelly was or second on the team rather. Kelly's a talented speed back that really kind of got lost in a rotation this year. USF was looking at using 4 backs between Jaron, Battie, Joyner, and Darian Felix, the Oregon transfer from 2 years ago. They were trying to use all 4 of those, and Kelly kind of got lost in the rotation. So the Temple game, he needed a game like that, to be honest with you. He broke onto the scene, had a great game in 2019 against Memphis, and had some success aside from that in 2020, and but just kind of was getting lost behind some on the depth chart. But he had a really great game. He's more of your typical speed back, can run a lot of those jet sweeps and counters that Jaron can't necessarily isn't fast enough to get to the outside to. Kelly's got a lot of wiggle. He's 5'8", 5'9", hides behind the offensive lineman. Typical speed back, does his and as is Brian Battie. Brian Battie's the same way. Speed back, 5'6", 5'7", out of Sarasota, Florida, so about an hour down south. Still consider him Bay made, and was really excited to see him because he was a top rusher in high school between Braden River and Sarasota high schools, and he succeeded. He was 2020's leading rusher for USF, and had a great game to finish off the year against UCF. And again, another speed back that can run those jet sweeps and counters and stuff like that Mangum isn't able to get. And but he showed his speed on a 100-yard kickoff return against Tulsa, and that was the first time USF had a kickoff return since Terrence Horn had 2 in the same game back in 2018 against Georgia Tech. So they got 3 very different backs, very different, or two of the same style with the scat backs in Battie and Joyner, and then a power guy in Mangum, and it's meshing really, really well as the season goes along.
Hey, Will, I wanted to ask you about, is it really true that I'm sorry, I just had a quick point, Kyle.
Go ahead.
I'm not the stats guy, that's Bubba, so Bubba, help me out on this, but I believe I read, is it true you guys only have 2 passing touchdowns this season?
Yep. Clip Brock asked me about that early today, actually, too. Yeah, it is true. Timmy McClain threw 1 against North Carolina State week 1, and then he threw 1 last week against Temple to DeMarcus Gregory. So yeah, he's thrown 2 passing touchdowns this year. But I don't think that tells the story about the wide receiver group. I think they've really improved. They got a new coach in Bobby Bentley from South Carolina. Jake Bentley's dad, if you're familiar with that name, I think he played at South Carolina as well. So they got Bobby down after Will Muschamp left South Carolina. So he's done a great job with that receiver group. But most of their touchdowns, 16 of them, have come via the ground through these first 7 games.
Yeah, so the defense try to stop the run. Will, I'm going to change the subject on you just a bit here and then we'll circle back around to the game. Conference realignment, the American brought in some new conference mates last week. Florida Atlantic comes in down y'all's neck of the woods. Then North Texas, UTSA, Charlotte, and UAB. What's the reaction out of South Florida to the teams coming into the league? And just what's the overall opinion there on the 247 message board from your fan base?
Yeah, so a lot of folks are concerned that it's going to be a Conference USA 2.0 because every single school came from Conference USA. A lot of folks were kind of upset, felt they got left behind with UCF going, because when you think about UCF and USF, they're only an hour and a half away from each other. They're pretty much partner schools, right? So a lot of folks saw UCF going to the Big 12, and we're like, well, why isn't USF going? Why is Houston going? Because their football program hasn't been all that good in the last two seasons. But folks forget that they just made a Peach Bowl. Folks just forget that they have a Final Four basketball team. Like there's other things that are.
They also used to play in that conference when it was called the Southwestern
Yep.
Conference.
Yep, and they're 6-1 this year. So I mean, like they're playing really good ball. So obviously, and then Cincinnati success and BYU success. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer for the Big 12 to take those schools. USF fans are kind of more. They're obviously upset, but I think a good majority of them are kind of having to accept the reality of it, because if this was 2015 to 2017 when USF was winning 10, 11 games of ball games a year and UCF was going winless, I think this would be a completely different conversation. I think we would say that USF was going to go to the Big 12, but at that point. But I think a lot of folks are more caught up between the UCF going and USF not going, and USF just has to get its house in order first before they decide to do that, right? They've won just one game against an FBS opponent the previous 2 years, and that was Saturday. I mean, they've got to get their football house in order. They got to get the facilities in order. They've been talking about this indoor practice facility for a long time, and I know ECU is kind of having to do the same thing with no IPF currently. USF has been in the same boat, and I don't know if y'all have ever been to Florida, but during the summertime, 4:00, it's like clockwork. It rains every day at 4:00 during the summertime, pretty much. And those guys have got to, work around that practice. And they moved all their practices this week to night because it's been raining all week in the mornings when they normally practice. So, they're building IPF. They've got the groundbreaking ceremony in September. I was told that's not even going to get, truly started until November. And then they're looking at some sort of on-campus stadium. And I don't know if any of y'all have been to USF's campus for basketball or anything like that. It's compact. It's really compact. It's within a couple of city blocks in Temple Terrace, which is about 10, 15, 20 minutes north of downtown Tampa. It's packed. There's already a lot in there, and there's 52,000 students on campus. And trust me, I was a student at USF. There's not a lot of space to move around, and there's not a lot of space for a stadium. So they're trying to do some different things.
Just do what Charlotte did, dig a hole in the ground.
Yeah, that's pretty much. They're gonna have to. They're paving over some things. I think they've got a track and field stadium. I think that's where they're gonna end up putting it. But they got to get their house in order first, and once they get their house in order, then they can start looking towards, if the Big 12 starts expanding again, or the Big 10 or ACC or anything like that. But
the Big 10.
Big 10. Surprisingly enough, I got a friend who is a Georgia Tech alum who's very, very in it with Georgia Tech, and when they were doing the last round of conference realignment, the Big 10 was very interested in getting into the Southeast market. And Georgia Tech was a school that they were looking at pretty heavily.
So you're saying replacing the Georgia Tech in the ACC?
Yeah, correct. I've heard some different things. I guess there were a couple ADs up north just from some hearsay. Obviously there's nothing solid to it, but you never know, right? This is a 5-7 year jump. Who knows what the college football landscape is going to be like in 5 to 7 years at this point.
If the Big 10 wanted to expand south, I could see Georgia Tech actually being on their radar. I thought you meant South Florida to the Big 10.
Believe it or not, there were a few prominent ADs within the Big 10 that were looking at it.
Unless there's something I don't know, y'all don't have the academics for the Big 10.
That's the big thing, right? And I agree with you on that. They just applied for AAU status within the last few weeks. They got to get that in order to even think about it. Yeah, that's the big thing. You're absolutely right on the academic part.
Yeah, guys, don't you wish we were in a big city so we could just wave our fingers and build a stadium and say we can go to the Big 12 or the Big 10? I mean, wouldn't it be nice? I mean, y'all been playing football since 1932.
Yeah. No, I mean, and I see ECU and USF kind of in a similar boat, especially on the football side. And I see a lot of similarities between the two programs, and just trying to, I think both programs, I like what Mike Houston's doing over there. And I think if both programs can be on the rise again, I think we could be talking about something completely different, a lot better in 5 to 7 years.
No, I agree. I think we both have good head coaches, and I think the one advantage you guys have, the point that I just made, unfortunately, we can't do anything about where we are. We can't take the school and put it in Charlotte or Greensboro or Raleigh. We kind of are where we are. I wish people in the media markets, ESPN, et cetera, would look at TV ratings and also have enough sense to see that our alumni base is spread out throughout, the Charlotte, Raleigh, and even we got a tremendous alumni base in the DC area. Yep. So I mean, it's
and Atlanta as well.
Atlanta, yeah.
Heck, I've got a neighbor down here in Tampa with an ECU flag outside of his house.
Yeah, we're all over. we're Matt's in Connecticut.
We're like roaches. We're everywhere.
Hey, Will, since we're sort of talking about the future and the trajectory of the program, just taking a look at Jeff Scott here in year 2, right now, obviously he had a pretty big rebuild on his hands. He's 3-13 here. Looks like, just taking a quick peek at recruiting, you have 5 commits so far. I'm looking at, your 24/7. What's the general feeling? Do you feel like this is the right guy to sort of get USF back to where it was several years ago?
From a CEO type coach standpoint, absolutely. I think he does a great job I think Jeff Scott does a fantastic job in terms of getting the alumni base united. I think he's done a fantastic job of getting folks fired up about the program. He's been the CEO type of coach that USF has needed because of Charlie Strong's inability and unwillingness to build the program. He credit Jeff Scott for getting this IPF project pushed along to the finish line. Credit him for kind of helping spark this on-campus stadium movement. I think in terms of the off-the-field stuff and the culture stuff within the locker room, because the culture stuff inside the locker room has been huge, I think he's absolutely the right guy in terms of that. The on-field products isn't pretty, but Charlie Strong left this roster in a pretty bad state. Obviously he goes from 11 wins in his first season with Quentin Flowers to 7, and you lost your last 6 to 4. And I really, really think that Charlie Strong left this roster in a worse place than people think. And I think, Jeff Scott, from a roster standpoint, he's had to build through the portal. He's kind of doing what SMU did. SMU tried is successfully doing it, building through the portal, and USF is trying to do the same thing. They brought in double-digit transfers this year, and a lot of those guys are making key contributions already. When you look at the recruiting aspect, and only 5 recruits, they're in a similar spot as a lot of group of 5 schools around the country that just don't have the scholarship space currently. And I think we're seeing a trend in college football where less high school kids are going to be relied upon, as opposed to, folks in the transfer portal and players in the transfer portal. Because if we're in college football is a results oriented business, without a doubt. I think we can all agree on that. And for USF, and its fans want the program to win now. So they need guys that have experience that can help them win now, instead of relying on high school kids that may be 1 or 2 years away from helping that. And I think that's where USF is right now. Not to say by 2023 or 2024, once the scholarships get a little bit evened out, things could kind of go back to normal in terms of signing a full 22-23 high school kid class. But they're going to try and build this thing through the transfer portal. They're only going to take 7 to 9 high school / JUCO / post grad players, and they're going to try and build this thing through the portal, kind of like SMU did. And He said, East Carolina and SMU were two great case studies in terms of how they want to build this program and bring the type of players they want to bring in.
We can relate to that, Will, because when Mike Houston took this job, this is his third year now. I don't know, most people around the country don't realize how bad of a position this program was in. We had 68 scholarship players on the roster at that point. So this was a pretty major rebuild here as well. So we can certainly relate.
Yeah, and that's what Jeff said this week, because I asked him, you mentioned that SMU was a good case study, and I made sure to ask him, I was like, is ECU kind of in the same boat? And he said, absolutely. He said there's a few teams in this conference that are in similar positions of trying to rebuild their program through the portal or trying to, make some splash hits, splash high school hits. USF took some big swings at some recruits that they weren't able to get, but I like what's coming in. I mean, they got a guy that's an hour and a half outside of Greenville, and Byron Brown from Rollsville High. Just went to a state championship game last year that I think is going to be a very good player for USF. I think Javon Thomas is going to be a very, very good player for USF. I think Tavin Ward is going to be a very good player for USF down the line. And I like the potential that Gunnar Smith and Cade Roberts have. I mean, they got guys in this class, albeit a small class, that can make impacts. And I think that's what they need to keep finding.
Will, before you tell us more about the defensive side of the ball, the topic of facilities came up when we were discussing conference expansion. I know in basketball, the Sun Dome became the Yingling Center, and if I'm not mistaken, isn't that basically within a stone's throw of the campus? So if you would just talk about the possibility of who are some corporate sponsors, be it Yingling or someone else, for a new on-campus football stadium.
And what a great sponsor to have for your basketball arena.
It really is.
That is awesome.
Gosh, corporate sponsors, you put me on the spot. Golly. Trying to think of who the major brands down here. Publix is kind of the main one that I think. Publix supermarkets. Obviously, they're big in Florida. They're right down the road in Lakeland. And USF has an on-campus Publix. They were, I think, the first school in the state to have an on-campus Publix. So I think that's kind of the initial one that everybody thinks of. I think Amalie Motor Oil, which sponsors the arena, could potentially be one. They have their logos splattered all over the coaches' headsets. So I think they could be one. Like I said, they're already doing Amalie Arena for the Tampa Bay Lightning, so maybe them. I think I'm trying to think who else are the major USF sponsors. Tampa General Hospital is really big. I don't think you're going to walk up to Tampa General Hospital Stadium anytime soon, but you never know.
I guarantee you the hospital's got more money than you think they do.
They probably do, but trying to think who else. There's some other big ones. Hooters, believe it or not, is based out of Clearwater. So
you got Yingling for your basketball stadium. So the Hooters football stadium, that'd be awesome. They go hand in hand.
For sure. Yeah, no, they're right down the street in Clearwater. The original location is right down State Road 60. So maybe them. USF Health, Advent Health. There's a lot of big medical companies down here that could definitely be presenting sponsors of a stadium like that. But Publix, without a doubt, is probably the one that I'm thinking of right off the bat.
Will, how did you guys end up with Yingling? Yingling's out of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, so there's actually a big Yingling brewery right down near Busch Gardens, off of 33rd Street, I think. It's a huge. They've got a huge brewery down here, and that's kind of what got it started. To be honest with you, they've got a pretty good foothold in Tampa.
Okay.
Hey, Kyle, how about this? How about this, guys? How about having a Hooters inside the new stadium? If you have Hooters Stadium, you got to have a Hooters built in the stadium, don't you think?
I mean,
man,
sure.
I mean, you can't have better marketing than that, right?
Yeah,
definitely going to bring in a crowd.
Yeah, for sure.
Get you some wings and beer and watch the game there at Hooters inside the stadium. I mean, that would be amazing.
You guys seen the new shorts the Hooters have introduced? That's been a big trend on TikTok.
What is it?
The new shorts Hooters have introduced. That's been a big thing.
Oh yeah, I did see. I did see that. It's funny
changed them
actually.
back? Is that what you're saying? My wife's saying they are changing them back to the orange shorts because so many waitresses have complained.
I'm sure.
I had no complaints. They were fantastic.
It was funny. I drive when I'm not
sure
when I'm not writing. I drive for Uber when I'm not writing. So I had 3 Hooters waitresses in the back of my car the other night, taking them home, and they were kind of complaining about the new shorts themselves. So.
What did they say?
First time I've said I've had 3 Hooters waitresses in the back. Okay, yes, it
is. Responsibly, of course.
But what were they saying? They were complaining. Well, I'll tell you what they were complaining about the shorts, Dave. Their ass cheeks are hanging out in the back. That's what
I know what they were
complaining about. If you haven't seen them, they're rather cheeky.
I can only imagine.
I figured that was a new development.
No, it takes what they had to the next level. It's a shame, evidently, if they're changing them back because I think the Hooters might have been wanting to change their name from Hooters.
Wait a minute. I know what
I don't know.
I know what the problem is. There's a shorts shortage. There's a shortage for everything, and it's they don't have enough material for it. That's what.
Well, maybe Biden can sniff some out.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, I like that one.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Very nice. Very nice.
I know, guys. Funny story here recently. My family and I, we're actually eating at Outback and ran into somebody we know. And
I thought you were about to say your family. You were eating at Hooters, Bubba.
No,
I was about to say, ain't no way in hell you got Stacy to go to Hooters.
I would love to see that. Please video that and put it up on the Sports Objective or stuff if you get Stacy to Hooters. That would be fantastic.
But the lady we ran into at Outback, her daughter had worked at Hooters, and my kids, of course, know what Hooters is. So my 7-year-old, she started giggling, and she said, Hooters.
Nice.
And me and Stacy just looked at each other and just died laughing.
I don't know. I have nowhere to go from that.
All right, I'll get the show back on the track. So
I was enjoying it,
man. Going back to talking football. Earlier, I believe you were backstage, Will, when you were or when we were visiting with Ryan Jones, and he was talking about the Bulls' approach on the defensive side. Tell us about that scheme that Jeff Scott's defense employs.
Yeah, I think he was spot on with kind of the things that he said. They use a multiple front, so at its core, it's an odd man front, 3-man front. They've been using a little bit more of a 4-man front against Tulsa and against Temple, just simply to try and get some more speed on the field. They've had some trouble rushing a quarterback, and they really wanted to try and get some more speed on the field. They don't have a whole lot of size on the defensive front. They kind of average about 260 to 275. So they're not the biggest front whatsoever. They've got some pretty good sized nose tackles, but they only have 2 that are above 300 pounds. So they don't have a ton of size up front, but we're just trying to get some more speed on the field in terms of trying to get Tramel Logan, COVID-year freshman out of Booker T. Washington down in Miami, trying to get him some more reps because he's a guy they see doing some good things down the line. I think the other thing that they were trying to do too is just trying to show a different look, to be honest with you, because USF, the 3-man front hadn't been working. I think for the Florida game, I think it was to that point, 10 out of the 13 games at one point, or 9 out of the 13 games of the Jeff Scott era, USF had allowed 40 or more points, which is not take away all the analytics. You giving up 40 points in 75% of the games to that point is not good. It's not going to win you very many ball games. So they've had to change some things up, to be honest with you. And the USF's two best linebackers, probably their two best defensive players, Antonio Greer and Dwayne Boyles, are playing more snaps in coverage than they ever had before in their careers. They're pass rushing linebackers, and that's what they stand out as. And now, because of this scheme that Glenn Spencer's been running, they've been sitting back in coverage. They're playing 40 to 50 snaps a game in coverage and not rushing the passer as much. And they're starting to figure it out, which is good. I think Antonio Greer's had interceptions in 2 straight games. Dwayne Boyles had interceptions in 2 straight games coming into Temple. Didn't have one against Temple, but when USF's defense is working, they're creating turnovers and they're creating havoc. That's the biggest thing for them. They just have to put pressure on the quarterback to be able to do that consistently.
Will, taking a peek at the line, the spread for the game this week, I think it opened around 7, maybe 7.5.
6. It opened at 6.
6. Thank you, Kyle. And just now I'm on taking a peek at covers.com. I see it's ECU -10. Coincidentally, the news sort of broke in Greenville this morning that there might be an injury at the quarterback position. What are your thoughts on that line coming into this game? And just curious your take and sort of your outlook on the overall final score of the game.
Yeah, I've been thinking 7. I've been thinking a touchdown is kind of where my head's been at for the majority of this so far. Coming into the week, I was thinking 7. Depends on if Timmy McClain is going to play. I said before this 3-game stretch, so that was before the Tulsa game, that this 3-game stretch was going to be the most pivotal of the Jeff Scott era so far. And I think what I wrote was, I think they have the Tulsa game was truly a toss-up, which it was 1 point. I said that they should probably beat Temple, which they did. They blew them out. And then this East Carolina game, a lot of folks are, we're thinking that USF was just going to go right up to Greenville and beat them pretty handily. But I don't agree with that at all, because folks forget that ECU came down to Tampa last year and beat USF by 20. I mean, I don't think this is going to be a walk in the park for USF whatsoever. I think ECU presents a pretty darn good challenge. This is a ECU team that, and y'all can say that I'm pandering as much as you want. This is the ECU team that frankly should be 6-1. I mean, they're 3 plays away from being 6-1, as Jeff Scott said this week. So 7-10 is kind of what I'm thinking. That ballpark, I think, the long travel, the travel situation for ECU might even this out a little bit, especially in the first half. I could potentially see the Pirates coming out a little bit sluggish because of the long night, short week. Granted, USF is coming off a short week too, so I think the playing field levels out a little bit on these Thursday, Friday night games, just because you only have a few days to rest. But yeah, I think ECU by 10 is kind of where I'm at myself right now on Tuesday, with 2 days before whether or not McClain or Marsh plays on Thursday night.
What's your best guess on if McClain's going to play?
Probably about 75-25 right now.
Which way?
Honesty. 75 yes, 25 no.
Okay, all right, gotcha. That's what I'm thinking too. If he's practiced, he's probably going to play. And he's mobile. The question is, if he does play, how much will his mobility be affected? And will they play him? Is he still the better choice if his mobility is greatly decreased?
Not necessarily, because Marsh's arm talent is a lot better. Like I mentioned earlier, he's a lot better of a pure pocket passer than McClain is. So no, I'd probably go Marsh in terms of throwing. If Timmy's ankle is messed up still, but if they play him, I think they feel confident enough that he'll be able to go. He could have played the second half against Temple. With what Jeff Scott said, they could have played him. He was cleared to play. They just were up and decided to go with Marsh and then Fortin. But we'll see what happens. But like I said, I think 75% yes he'll play, 25 no.
Okay.
But like I said, I think Travis is capable enough to lead him to success if he needs to.
Okay.
So what you're saying, this is gamemanship. He's definitely playing Thursday night. Go ahead and count on him. That's what I hear. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that. It's a little gamesmanship.
Hey, I got it. Yeah, I mean, he just got said. I'm not gonna tell anybody till Thursday. So
if Will says 75-25, I'm putting it at 100% that we're going to see this quarterback. And
well, I've always, Matt, you played the Division I level. I always heard you practice, you play. If he's practiced both days, and my guess is he's playing. Unless it's a high ankle sprain. Sometimes high ankle sprains are weird. He can be fine one day and terrible the next. Is it a high ankle sprain?
Not that I've been told. No,
Okay.
I haven't heard anything like that. No, because Christian Williams, the Miami cornerback at transfer, had a high ankle sprain suffered against NC State and was out for 6 weeks. So,
yeah.
And Blake Barnett 2 years ago had a high ankle sprain. It made him retire from football. He had to have surgery on it. His career ended.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
very tricky. Very tricky. Will, the keys to the game, what are you looking at before we let you go? And we have another question for you as well.
Yeah. Keys to the game, probably offensively, control the clock. I mean, when USF played well against Temple, what they do? Control the clock. They had the ball for 13 minutes in the first quarter and 13 minutes in the third. So they just have to control the clock. That was what they did well in the second half of the BYU game when they were trying to come back on BYU. They nearly did. So that's what they did. They controlled the clock, and I think they've got to do that to have a chance. Establish a run game early, especially if your quarterback isn't 100% or you're not trusting what you're seeing in the passing game. I think your running backs have to be up to the task to carry the weight offensively, and then defensively, I think my biggest key is get pressure on Holton Ahlers. I mean, every time I've watched Holton, if you get pressure on him, he struggles, and I think USF has got to put a lot of pressure on him in order to kind of get him uncomfortable. They didn't do that last year. That's why I played well against him, I think, and I think if they can get pressure on him and create a turnover or two, they might have a better shot to win this than what that 10-point line says.
And before we let you go, I know Matt wants to talk movies. So do you have a favorite movie? And then we'll let you get out of here.
Oh shoot, favorite movie. Good Lord, y'all put me on the spot, man. Let's see. Favorite movie. See, I'm a big sucker for good storytelling, right? And since it's
A Walk to Remember.
Since it's World Series time, I think I gotta go with 42. The old Chadwick Boseman movie that portrayed the Jackie Robinson story. I think Chadwick Boseman's easily one of my favorite actors. Unfortunate to hear about his passing, when it happened. But I think 42. I think that's probably one of my favorites. I did enjoy the Marvel movies. I am a superhero kind of or comic book nerd here and there, so I did enjoy those. But so that's probably 42 is probably what I'd say.
All right. Well, by the way, one last thing. We obviously want you to promote Bulls 24/7. Tell folks about your site and how they can see all your great work.
Yeah, I appreciate that opportunity to do so. It's bulls247.com. You get all the latest content. Like you said, Dave, at the beginning, I'm basically the Stephen Igo of USF. So a lot of similar types of content over there. I'll have all of the latest news around game time when I'm not on the road to North Carolina, obviously. So that's where you'll get all the latest. And then my personal Twitter is @WTurner247. And then the site Twitter is @Bulls247 for all the latest up-to-date news regarding USF on the site right now. Got a pretty lengthy hour podcast talking about how USF beat Temple and breaking that game down a little bit further. So if you're interested and you want to listen to something as opposed to traditional reading, go ahead and listen to that. That's pretty much got all the latest. We'll have something with IGO probably tomorrow, I think, about the game. So we'll go with that. But yeah, that's what it is. Bulls247.com is the latest and greatest surrounding USF athletics.
And we'll let everybody know Will Turner is a great Pirate. I'm just kidding.
I'm telling you, man, it's always ECU week. I feel a little bit more like myself.
All right. Have a great night. Appreciate the visit, man. We'll catch up with you soon.
Appreciate y'all.
Thanks,
All right.
Will.
Have a good night, man.
All right. Thanks, Will.
Bye-bye. Will Turner there from Bulls 24/7. Appreciate him. Man, I thought for sure. See, I'm dead wrong. Can I just say I'm wrong, Matt?
Sure.
Because Kyle, I thought for sure would know that reference because Pirates of the Caribbean is a really cool.
Never watched
franchise.
any of them. I'm not saying I wouldn't like the franchise. It's just I'm not a big Johnny Depp guy. It didn't appeal to me to watch it. But I'm not saying if I didn't watch it that I wouldn't enjoy it. I
Right.
just haven't taken the time to watch it.
Okay.
The first one is a quality movie. As it goes on, it gets a little crazy. It goes a little too far into like fantasy land. But the first one's a solid movie. It's worth watching.
It's like any other franchise for the most part. When they have sequels, the first one is fantastic in it, and it kind of does like that. That's pretty much the rule with sequels and movies and franchises. But obviously, Matt, I know you want to talk a little movies. So what you got, man? Your favorite movie? What's the best acting performance? I'll kick it off there with you, and then.
Yeah, so we were talking about this last night, and I was trying to find. I was thinking of one that's a little off the radar that maybe a lot of people haven't seen before. So this is just my personal opinion, but there's a movie called Gangs of New York. Very talented actor, Daniel Day-Lewis. In my opinion, this is the best acting performance in the history of movies. Incredible. He plays a role, Bill the Butcher. Great movie, man. Unbelievable fights, rumbles, and gang fights. Great actors. You have Cameron Diaz. You have Liam Neeson.
Yes.
Awesome movie. That might be a little off the. Martin Scorsese directed the movie, who you guys know well about. So, Kyle, I know you said you didn't see it. You got to check it out.
All right, sounds good. I will check it out. It's amazing the movies I haven't seen and the movies I have seen. I've seen a lot of strange movies, and then I hadn't seen Tombstone until about 2 months ago.
Oh my God, are you serious?
That
is a great movie. Great movie. Yeah. Wow. Well, I'm glad you saw it. I'm glad you called up to 1990, I believe it was, or 90. No, I take that back. It was like 94,
maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I beg your pardon. Yeah, it was. I was in college at that point, so that's about the time Semenza came.
I'll tell you, since you mentioned Tombstone, Coach Connors, showed us the movie Tombstone before a football game. That was our Friday night movie.
Did you win?
I want to say in like 1996. So it just ties that into East Carolina a little bit.
You know which game it was? Do you remember?
Dude, you know I'm really bad at stuff like this. Bubba would probably know, and he wasn't even there.
You're probably right.
Hey, that was the line of the night. We can stop the show right now. Drop the mic. Thank you, Semenza. Bubba, what's the movie about? I know the one thing I know about Bubba is he loves, and I love the category.
He loves all the Nicholas Sparks movies. Those are his favorite.
No, I did not. No comedies.
It's true. No Nicholas Sparks. So, Bubba, was it Nights for Redanthe, The Notebook? What is it? What's your favorite?
I wasn't coming prepared with my favorite movie. Just something from the movie realm. It's definitely one of my favorites, if not my favorite. But and that is the movie Hoosiers, the mid 1980s movie. I think was 85. I think obviously Gene Hackman, Dennis Hopper. Back in 2015, we took a spring break trip to Indiana and had the opportunity to visit Knightstown and the Hoosier Gym, and that was an awesome experience. Just visualizing that movie being filmed 30 years prior.
Bubba, you and me have a connection with the movie. and we quote lines from it all the time. Do you know what movie I'm talking about?
Dumb and Dumber.
No. Bubba?
I'm just kidding. That's one of my favorite comedies.
I'm trying to remember because I know we've done it with multiple movies. And my first guess was going to be what Dave said, but the more I thought about it, I was like, no, because it seems like you laughed at me quoting that movie.
No,
but
that's all you. That's all you. You love Dumb and Dumber. This is
all right.
I do. Hilarious.
No, I mean Bubba. This is one.
All right. What movie is it?
Oh, come on, man. Come on. I'll just give you a hint.
Okay.
I said I was going to ask when we play a certain team later this year. I'm going to ask their play-by-play guy a question from the movie.
Oh, Christmas Vacation.
That's right. And what's the question I'm going to ask him, Bubba? And do it in the voice.
You can't get me to ask it. You
No,
gotta
I'm going to ask
because you're the one that does. You're the one that does the voice.
You do the voice too.
No, go ahead.
I know where you're going with this. That's why I'm laughing.
Is Rusty still in the Navy?
I knew you were going to ask that. I've been
so Matt, the party Christmas Vacation. I'm assuming you've probably seen that, and I know.
I hope to God he's seen Christmas Vacation.
Oh man, I've probably seen it 50 times.
So the party in Christmas Vacation when they're sitting down at the dinner table.
No, it's right when Edna gets there. It's right when
That's
she
right.
walks
Okay,
in the
it
door.
was before dinner. Yeah, they were kind of in the foyer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she's talking to Clark, and she goes, "Is Rusty still in the Navy?"
So when we're talking to Pete Medhurst, Kyle's going to ask something about Navy in that voice.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to. No, I'm not going to. What I'm going to do is just dead face. I'm going to go looking at your depth chart, Pete. Is Rusty still in the Navy?
Classic movie.
Just Bubba will pop. Nobody else will get it. But it's appropriate because it'll be the weekend before Thanksgiving. Everybody will be thinking about the holiday, so it's really good timing. So nobody will get it except Bubba and now Dave. And now you, Matt, you'll get it. But Pete will be quite confused. I'm sure. Rusty, who? What?
Maybe like there's a relative that he has.
Yeah. So Matt suggests Gangs of New York. Bubba suggests Hoosiers. I'm going to see. I got a lot of movies I like. I'm going to suggest one I haven't actually watched in a while that I used to love when I was a teenager, and I actually need to go back and watch it again to see if it still holds up. But The Professional. Have you guys seen that?
Oh wow, yeah, that's been a while back. Yeah.
Professional.
Is that
about a hitman,
right?
About a hitman that takes in a young girl in New York. I forget the actor.
I saw it one time. I can't remember.
She's a big star now. But it was her first ever movie. Her name is escaping me right now. If somebody wants to Google it real fast. But a great movie. If the relationship between her and the hitman does get uncomfortable at times if you're skeeved out. But it's more on her part than his part. But it's a great
Natalie
movie.
Portman.
Natalie Portman, yes.
Very young Natalie Portman.
And it's a great movie, tremendous movie. The dude is his character is just extremely interesting. I'm a big when I like movies, I love characters, and if the character is interesting to me, I'll generally like the movie around it. And I found his character, his name's Leon. I can't think of the actor who plays him. He's a foreign guy. But the character of Leon, the hitman in that movie, is just
Don Reno.
Yes, what an interesting character, and a great job by Don Reno pulling it off. Leon's character is just a lot of depth there.
Nice. I'm putting that one on my list, Kyle.
Yeah, it's good. And another one, I'm a big fan of the Young Guns movies. I know they're not historically accurate, but the Young Guns 1 and Young Guns 2 are two of my favorite movies of all time. And the Back to the Future trilogy. Not a big fan of the second one. Love 1 and 3. But the second one, there's just I remember as a kid watching the second one, and you remember when Biff gets the sports book and they go back to modern times. The times have been changed, and it's just a whole different world. As a kid, I could not stand watching that part. It used to give me anxiety like crazy.
Is that the only thing that gives you anxiety?
No, lots of things give me anxiety, but Anyway, Dave, have you got some suggestions?
Yeah, Matt put me on the spot, but there's one that just came up in a matter of minutes now.
No,
I
he
finally.
didn't. We talked about this last night. You knew this was coming. Nobody put you on the spot.
No. I know, but I had other movies I was going to mention, but there was one that would just really thinking about acting performances. Man, I'm going to tell you something. The guy wrote the screenplay. He pretty much did it all. How about Billy Bob Thornton and the Sling Blade?
Oh,
That
that's a great movie. Yeah,
that is one of my all-time favorite movies. I mean, the guy, I don't understand how that guy could not win Best Actor for that role. That's not anything like him at all.
yeah. I
And
thought
for
Dwight
Carl,
Yoakam did a great job in that movie.
oh my God, yeah. Who knew that he was a great actor? And just that John Ritter's in it that was in Three's Company. It had a different character, I mean, yeah, but that was a great movie. That's your college time too, Matt. That's right after college for me. 96, my first year in radio. So, that's the one I'm going to go with. I mean, I could rattle off a whole bunch of them, but that's the one.
We ain't got no band, Randy.
Kyle, can you do a Billy Bob Thornton in Sling? Like, can you do the Sling Blade voice?
I like the way you talk, Matt.
That was pretty good, man. That was actually really good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was very. I'm impressed.
I don't know, Bubba. What should I do? You're the producer of the show. Where are we going, man? No, I truly like lots of movies. And let me ask you guys this. I'll put you guys on the spot with this one. And I know that Kyle, you're more independent when it comes to. I don't think you're more of the slasher type or any of the more mainstream horror movies. But who was your favorite character growing up? For me, I have to say
my
horror
favorite character is very mainstream.
I gotta go. Okay, who is it? Who is it?
Michael Myers. I love.
Thank you.
I loved. We were talking about this the other night. I think we were. I was talking about with some damn body. My first exposure to Halloween wasn't the first one. I remember as a kid watching Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, and I love Dr. Loomis, but the Jamie Lloyd character played by Danielle Harris, she was a year older than me when Part 4 came out, and so I could identify her with it as a kid, and I love that character. Part 5 also followed that same saga, the Jamie Lloyd saga, and then Part 6 ended the Jamie Lloyd saga, and they killed her off. But I fell in love with Michael Myers. I shouldn't say fell in love, but I found him to be the most interesting horror character. Way more interesting than Freddy or Jason. I know your sister was a huge Freddy fan at one time.
Oh my God, yeah, that's her. Yeah, that's her favorite. Now, I mean, if you talk about Jason, Freddy, Michael, I love all of them. I think they're pretty good. But as far as the one that really scares me the most, to me, it's the most realistic is Michael Myers.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Kyle, he's in a league of their own.
Yeah.
Not the movie.
Well, what about recent horror movie? Is there any recent, Halloween coming up? Any recent horror movies? One that I thought was really good. The first Conjuring.
Oh my God, yeah.
We went to see that at the theater. You talk about a good acting performance. The guy that played, I cannot think of the name of that couple right now. Help me out, guys.
Vera Farmiga or something like that. I can't pronounce her name.
No, the guy.
She's the wife. The guy. I can't remember.
The couple. Their actual real names. The couple they portrayed. They actually.
They're from Connecticut. They're right up here in their house. You can actually visit their house
with the Annabelle doll.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Wow.
But the guy that portrays the husband in The Conjuring of that couple, I thought did a hell of a job in that movie. I can't think of his name, but he did a great job. But yeah, the first Conjuring is one of the better, more recent horror movies. And hell, I guess now that's been probably, how many years ago did that come out now? 7-8 years ago. So I don't even know if that really even that recent anymore. But I thought the first Conjuring was really good.
Really good. Hey, by the way, I don't know if this is a scary sight for you, Semenza, but we have a Facebook comment from Martin Libiano. Man on the left looks cute.
Look at that guy. What's up, Mark? We got to
Is he
have Mark
talking
come on one day, man.
Oh, he's been on with us. Hey, Lebiano, are you talking about Kyle Barber looking cute or Semenza? Because I doubt it's me. So it definitely would have to be Kyle Barber, I would think.
People
You're on the right.
People used to tell me and Mark we looked alike a little bit, but I always told them I was the better looking of the two.
And
Hey,
then
have I ever told you? Have I ever told you guys talking about guys looking alike? Talking about guys looking alike, how you and Mark look a lot alike. I have a friend named Juan Rivera, anyway, Juan has got a twin named Amal Rivera. So if you've seen Juan, you've seen Amal.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, man, the show is taking a nosedive.
Can I just, since we're talking Michael Myers, this is my final thought on the movie thing. I always tell people when they compare who's the best horror, Myers would put Jason over his knee and smack him around. That's what I have to say.
Hey, man.
So
I can't
do you want a Michael versus Jason movie? The Freddy versus Jason movie was kind of, Would you want to see a Michael versus Jason?
It doesn't really appeal to me, honestly.
Okay.
I like more movies like The Conjuring, like you were talking about The Conjuring and Annabelle, that stuff. I like that. That scares me a lot more than really even that. But when it came to characters, I was going to ask you guys. And yeah, we do have to get Libiano on. I tell you what, that guy, you guys are naturally caffeinated. You and Libiano, and what about also with Jeff Carr, with Wood? The three of you all.
That would be a fun show. So Libiano is originally a Pennsylvania guy, so he's kind of a northerner like myself. And Mark, talk about a guy who played in a lot of big games at East Carolina and was a great player here. So
Liberty Bowls.
Yeah, it'd be fun to have him on, and then old Pinocchio. We'll get Jeff Carr on too. We'll be good.
Jeff Carr can redneck it up a little bit.
I'm right. NASCAR, no doubt about it. Fellas, I know that we're running a little bit long tonight, but we want to talk some movies. Obviously, this is our preview, so we've got the big game Thursday night. We put you on the spot.
The next show we'll do music.
All right, sounds good. We can definitely do that. I can hang with you guys there too. Just don't ask me anything about gardening. So, guys, who's going to win the game Thursday night? We definitely want to do that. We'll talk about our sponsors too. But first, I'll give it to Semenza first. Who do you think's going to win the game? Can you give me a score?
Absolutely. I feel good about this one. This is a game we need to get. It's a must win. It's an absolute must win if we're going to play in a bowl game this year, in my opinion. I think the team is going to be fired up. It's a Thursday night home game on ESPN with the blackout. We're rolling out with the black uniforms, so I think that'll get the team fired up. I think we're going to run away with this one. When you look at South Florida, I think they love to run the ball. So our first down defense is going to be huge. We need to, get them in situations where it's 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, and get them off balance with the running game. But I think we're going to run away with this one. I'm going to say 35-17 Pirates. Write it.
I hope you're right. I don't feel I think we're going to win the game. I don't feel as good about it as you do. And I know Dave's confident. I haven't heard Bubba speculate too much on the score, but I think it's going to be a pretty close game. I think South Florida's gotten better every week. Going back to the BYU game, if you kind of check their scores, they've only lost to really good teams, just like we have also. I think it's going to be a competitive ball game. I'm going to go East Carolina 31, South Florida 24.
Wow. Okay.
All right.
For me, now he's going to say I'm copying him, but I'm not actually copying him. 31 Pirates, 17. I think it's going to be a 14-point spread. I just really I tell you, Semenza, I really like the defense for the Pirates. I think that we've been very good with the run. I think that defensive line, if they keep playing like they've been playing, that defensive line can really they can stop the gaps there. There's a lot of I think they put a lot of pressure on the ball. I think the Pirates are going to be very when it comes to turnovers, I think we may have 2 or 3 more than them. Something like 3-1, like we had where it was Houston
I
where
want
we had like
zero.
a two
How about we
deficit
do
there
zero
to
turnovers?
Houston. Well, I would not like. Yeah, I would love to have none, but I just think we may have one in it. But ultimately, I think the Pirates win at 31-17. I like 14 points. Um, I I I'll take a win. I don't care if it's by 1 point.
Yeah.
But I believe that the Pirates are going to do very well in defense to hold them to 17. I just have like that. The 31 may be off. It may be more like Kyle, but definitely agree that we're going to win the
I
game.
had
So
us.
that's the most important
I
thing.
had us at 31, Dave.
So we're all relatively close.
Yeah,
Relatively
I had us
close.
31-24.
31. I'm sorry. Yeah, 31. You had the 24. That's right. So the difference is a touchdown right there. So 31. Both of us agree on offense. We'll score 31 points. Hey, we'll take that, right?
As long as
No
they
doubt
score
about
30.
it. What's that?
You said we'll take that. I said as long as they score 30.
Oh yeah, absolutely not 40 some, right?
Yeah.
Don't see that happening. But guys, it's going to be tremendous. Bubba, I think, is producing, so we'll get his takes. Obviously, we'll find out what he said on Thursday. It'll be after the game, so that's going to be a
Bubba said
late.
South Florida 52, East Carolina 3. I couldn't believe it. He just texted it to me.
Wow,
I mean, I could not believe he said
wow.
that, but it's true. It's true.
You think you and Jeff Carr have it bad, man? You see that was rough there. Well, let's
I
do
know.
the sponsors now. We appreciate them. For as far as our pirate playback, we want to thank Kevin Walker, one of the best Pirates ever, part of that '83 team. Of course, graduated in '85. He's the owner and proud owner of L&K Custom Homes. He's a licensed general contractor. If you're looking to build a home, I know Kevin can do it for you, and he does a great job. If you don't believe me, look at his Facebook page, folks. He puts his work up there, and definitely the proof is in the pudding. Give him a call today, 336-688-8461. And they're 336-688-8461. And you can email him at kwalkerkev@al.com. And appreciate his support of the Pirate Playback and the support of this program. How about my good friend Tim Neal? You can call him today, and he's a part of Surveillance and Security Solutions LLC. Reliable, timely, accurate. The guy does tremendous work. I will tell you that firsthand. That's why he's on this program. Call him today, 716-490-4503, and appreciate Tim's support of the program. How about former D-line great under the Skip Holtz era? That's Josh Smith. You can call him today for ENC restoration, commercial, residential, exterior cleaning, deck, fence, and concrete restoration, pressure washing, and that's something I need in my house and deck for sure. I got to call Josh on that. 252-241-0812. Appreciate
And
Josh.
and
Go ahead.
another thing, if you have really, really dirty children, Josh can pressure wash them for you also.
Oh my goodness. And of course, somebody that Kyle, you know very well at Eastern North Carolina Lawn Pro, NC Lawn Pro, that would be Skylar Garner. I
Yeah.
know that he's done a great job for you.
Yeah, Skylar does a good job. Good prices. He'll treat you right. Helped us out when we needed some lawn maintenance done. And contact Skylar at Eastern NC Lawn Pro. If you're in Greene, Wayne, Lenoir, and Pitt County, he'll be happy to give you a quote and hopefully do some business with you.
All right, give him a call, 252-933-3555. And that's for Eastern NC Lawn Pro at gmail.com. You can email him too. And thanks to Skylar for his support of the program. And definitely we can hook you up on the lawn care needs. So any kind of deck, any kind of building your home, for sure. We appreciate him. Well, guys, we've had a tremendous show. Appreciate obviously Matt had to leave to pick up his daughter. Matt, appreciate you. Appreciate Ryan Jones, obviously, and Will Turner. Appreciate him. Not of Pirates of the Caribbean, but of Bulls 24/7, and appreciate him very much. All right, Kyle, do you have anything before we go?
No, just if you can be there Thursday night, be there. Last check at weather, I don't know if you've checked it more recently than I have. I checked it this afternoon, and it had dropped to a 0% chance of rain. Are you checking now, Dave?
I can. No, that was. I looked at it before the show. It was. I saw 0 on one and like 10% on another.
Okay.
But definitely a big improvement from from what we saw this week, my friend. It was 70, what wasn't it? At
At
one
times,
point?
yeah. So if we can get through that game dry, that should help the attendance, and we'll see what happens.
Night at the Boneyard, all the students go out there and support the Pirates, no matter win, lose, or draw. Obviously, we want them to win. You can call and get your tickets now, 1-800-DIAL-ECU or ECUPirates.com. They'll have tickets available for you, I'm sure. And guys, good luck to the Pirates. Until next time, you've been watching the Pirate Preview right here on the Sports Objective. Good night, everybody. Go Pirates.